Welcome to the Perfectly Positioned to Soar launch celebration. I'm Carol J. Dunlop, the online WOW strategist and lead visionary author for this project. I say project because it's actually more and bigger than the book, and you're going to see that today. I'm sitting down with each of my co authors to talk about their chapter. We'll go through why they said yes to this project and how what they created can help you make more money and play bigger. Join me in the studio now for this amazing interview. Well, hey, and welcome back to another great interview. I know it's going to be a great interview. I've known Toni, the legal diva, for a long time, and she knows her stuff. As a matter of fact, Toni, I was reading over today the finishing up pieces of the book that I had took notes on, right? And I was going through that. I was like, why am I procrastinating? I need to get with Toni. I've been saying that forever, but I need to do it because there was one question in that book inside your chapter where we're journaling that says, why have you put this off? What are you waiting on? And I was like, I could hear you just like Toni's in my ear right now. So I got to take care of it. So y'all are in for a treat. But before we get started, Toni, why don't you tell us about you, who you serve, and anything else you want the audience to know before we get into it.
Absolutely. Hello. Thank you so much for having me for this opportunity. I am Toni Moore, aka the Legal Diva. What I do so well is to break down the legal aspects of law so that it's not a scary thing. I want to help individuals, especially founding CEOs, chief everything officers, who are building a business and building their wealth building legacy and trust, to appreciate the legal side and use law as both a resource, as a sword and a shield. So for over 20 years, I have been working as a lawyer in various capacities, as an adjunct professor at one point, as a divorce attorney for almost 10 years, as an investigator, doing a lot with regards to compliance and governance. And now in my latter years, I find myself spending a lot of time helping people close the legal gap between what they know and what they need to know as they are building their wealth building containers, their financial fortresses, as they're building their family wealth companies, whatever it is, as they are positioning themselves to soar bigger, better, and more than they've ever seen or heard before. That's where I come in, not as a know-it-all lawyer, but more as a legal strategist who is helping individuals in this written book, in my chapter, to appreciate the legal side of their rise. And as they are building out their businesses, to always understand that as they level up, they should definitely lawyer up.
Oh, yeah, for real. And we can't even ignore the legalities of protecting yourself, protecting your business, protecting your thoughts. Those thoughts you get at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, and you go on to flesh the whole thing out, create content, create a book or whatever, and then it's not protected. So y'all know I am on it. Toni, we will be talking. We should have been talking a long time ago, but hey, you got to stop procrastinating at some point in life, right? All right, so let's get into this. I would love to know.
Absolutely.
What made you decide to join this project?
Yes. First of all, you are an awesome, amazing marketing genius, right? I love what you are doing. I love how you are breaking down your, in alignment with your assignment of helping us to think like marketers, build like marketers, and to allow us to appreciate that we can soar more than we've ever seen or heard before. And for me, as a lawyer who's been doing it for over 20 years, I want people to understand that law is not something to run away from, because when
Mhm.
you're not legal, it's a liability. I also know that in this season, a lot of people are talking about building wealth and businesses. And I'm like, hey, every time you level up, you should lawyer up. So I always want to be a coming along, not as a thou shalt not type of lawyer, but as a strategic legal partner to help people understand the legal side of their rise.
Oh, yeah. You put that very clear, very concise. And that's what I love about you. You are always clear and concise about what we need to do legally, how we need to bring legality into our business, how we need to protect ourselves, which is the very reason that I tapped you to come in and talk about this subject, this pressing subject that we don't even think about as much as we need to. So,
Mhm.
your chapter is fire. Girl, I'm telling you, when I was reading over everything, before releasing it, I was like, okay, the notes are going on. And it wasn't new stuff, it's stuff that you've been preaching and talking about for a long time. So I know you're not new to the game, but we are new to some different things that's happened to us, especially, AI and all that coming around. So my next question
Absolutely.
is, how does your chapter, Conquer the Legal Gap, Protect What's Yours, coincide with your actual business?
So we with regards to, I know you like conquer the legal gap, but I was like, no, it's closing the legal gap, because at the end of the day, it's helping people to appreciate that they only know what they know. But law
Mhm.
doesn't care that you're new to the game. You have to be
Right.
true to the game and true to compliance. So as people are sowing and soaring, they have to understand and appreciate that they have to close that legal gap of what they know, so that,
Mhm.
guess what, there is no gap in between what they should have known. If you have a big
Right.
gap between that, what you know and what you should have known, then that's, you're out of compliance, and you could subject yourself to a lawsuit, or you could subject yourself to a cease and desist, because we talked about ownership, we talked about
Mhm.
intellectual property rights, and we talk a lot about contract law in my
Right.
chapter.
Right. Right. And it's all relevant. It's all needed and necessary. And I love what you said. I'm going to keep saying it, sowing and soaring, because they will go together. But you got to put that protection in the middle of it so you can keep on sowing and soaring and not have to look back and see who's taking my stuff, or if someone has taken your stuff, any
Mhm.
content or whatever, that you can get them.
Mhm.
Because
Because
it was a
people
couple of
will
people
take
who,
it.
yes, they will. It was a couple of people who said that. I remember maybe about 5 years ago, and I was on something that you were leading, I think a conference or something, and you were like, I just got off the phone with another client. She said she looked up online, and there, all her stuff was, somebody had just copied the whole thing, the periods, the commas, everything. And you're like, but it's okay because she's protected and she's going to put this in force. And I was like, wow, we just never think about that stuff. We just never think about it. And I don't know why. That's why.
That's
That's why you're in the book. That's why you were on the summit, because we have to put it out there. All right. So my next question for you is, how can the reader use your chapter to help them on their journey to higher income?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things with regards to higher income is just having that shifting of the ownership. What I
Mhm.
know that people, we're always thinking about building, making more money. Sometimes, they're not even thinking about the legal side. But this is what I want people to go from worker, always working for the benefits, to owner. And owner means that you're taking ownership of your business,
Mhm.
ownership of your brand, ownership of what you're building, whether it's the ecosystem or a family trust, ownership, even with regards to what does it look like owning a richer retirement, because most people
Right.
aren't thinking about that. But once you get to my age in the mid 50s, we're always thinking, like, what
Yeah.
does that look like down the line? And
Mhm.
when you go from worker to owner, you're just like, whoa, I got to take ownership of everything, and the legality that, even if they stick with the three, with regards to taking ownership,
Mhm.
also intellectual property, also setting boundaries, you use that as a blueprint throughout the whole book, you should be good, at least as to getting started.
Right, right. And it's one of those things. Tell us about the legality of keeping ourselves up to date, keeping and making sure that we're not losing something in the gap. We just created this. Did we protect it? What are some things you can tell us to help us? Like when we create something, because our minds are always going, especially mine, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. How can we make sure that we're protecting all of that new stuff, even if we protect the old stuff and have, trademark and all that for it?
Absolutely. So I actually have that CYA cover your assets, legal chapter with regards to what I use for my own estate planning clients and what
Mhm.
I then start using for just my business clients and as many people as I can help to start keeping receipts of ownership. Because when
Right.
you keep receipts of ownership, then at least there is no gap ownership with
Mhm.
regards to what do you own for the trademark is concerned, what do you own
Mhm.
for brand names that aren't trademarked, what do you own for curriculum, what is the ownership privileges that you have if you have a sponsorship agreement or if you
Right.
even have like a grant. You have to keep track of those things, not because you're thinking, oh, one day I'm going to die, but if
Mhm.
if someone has to take reins with regards to your business, or if you're at least having that legacy mindset as you're creating your business and thinking one day my children and my children's children are going to run this. You need to create a blueprint now. You need to
Mhm.
teach them in the way that they should go now, because without that leadership, without that instruction, without some sort of footprint as to what you own, what you're bankrolling, what you're monitoring, no one knows anything. I promise.
Right.
I've been a lawyer since 1999, sworn in, finished law school in 1998. I've never seen a bank or an insurance company contact the beneficiaries and say, oh, by the way,
Mm.
there's an asset with your name on it. I've never
Wow.
seen anyone who owe money to a business owner say, oh, by the way, I took out a loan, or oh, by the way, they invested equity into my business and I owe this to the family members. So if you
Mm.
don't have some sort of receipt of ownership that then you can pass down to your children, your children's children, even your legacy, with regards to the legacy department of revenues, so to speak,
Right.
in your own family tree, it's going to get lost, because
Wow.
I do probate in 3 different states. And most of the time, the family member has to look around as though it is some jigsaw puzzle that someone
Mm.
threw up in the air. It's only supposed to be 25 pieces, but people put in an extra 1,000 just so you can't find what's owed to you. And
Right.
that's eventually that has to stop.
Yeah, I love that because that is an eye opener and we know what we need to do. So I know what y'all need to do, and that's to go get a copy of this book so y'all can double down on it and start doing what the Legal Diva tells you to do. And you can do that by going to csicorporation.com/soar. The book is out. You can get the Kindle version now. The paperback will be out in about 2 weeks or so, but go ahead and get that Kindle version because it's only $2.99. I know we can all afford that. At least right now we can.
Yes.
And all of the co-authors, plus myself, we all have a gift in the book for you, a free gift that's going to help you. So, Toni, tell us about the gift that you have in the book for the people who are waiting on it with bated breath.
Yes, absolutely. So I talk about closing the legal gap. And one of the best ways of closing the legal gap is to identify what you own and what you owe, right? What you own right
Mm-hmm.
now, what you owe, and what you want to continually do. When we start thinking about your dreams of legacy, it becomes something that's material. And if your dreams of legacy is to build out a business with assets so that you can pass it down for maybe a rich retirement and your children, your children's children, then you need to
Mm-hmm.
at least get that CYA checklist so that you can identify what you own, what you owe, and the milestones that you get a chance to do so as you can grow. And always remember, over and over again, I want you to remember, as you level up, I need you to lawyer up. So as you level up
Yes.
into another business or into
Yes.
another equity build or into another summit or into another sponsorship, that you at least appreciate that as you level up, you should definitely lawyer up so that you can close that legal gap throughout the in between.
Yes, definitely. And I am singing your praises as much as I can, being on the summit, being an excellent speaker on the summit, being a co-author in the book, being here talking about this, because I am determined that I am no longer going to leave all my legal stuff behind and just think, oh, I'll just be fine. I have some things that are protected. I know what I own pretty much, but you know how we do even with marketing in our business. Hey, I know a little bit here and there. I'm doing a little bit of stuff. No, we need to go all in, do it all the way, and y'all can do that by getting the book Perfectly Positioned to Soar and going straight to Tony's chapter and see how you need to lawyer up, because we don't want to be caught out there craziness at all. So, Tony, thank you so much for joining me, joining the project, being a part of this. Now, let's tell everyone out there how they can find you in these internet streets.
Yes, absolutely. So you can definitely find me at Toni Moore, ToniMoore.com, ToniMoore.com, or find me at The Legal Diva, DEEVA, The Legal Diva. And you can find resources and information and podcast information. Follow me on social media, because that's where I know that my legacy is making sure that we lawyer up our mindset, we lawyer up our businesses, our ecosystem, and most especially our legacies. So that, guess what? At the end of the day, it becomes legally protected and respected.
Most definitely. And we're going to do that right now. So y'all go get the book. Go to csicorporation.com/soar. And make sure you stay tuned for the next co-author interview. Thank you so much. And bye for now. Hey, thank you so much for joining us for this most informative interview. Did you enjoy it? I certainly did. And if the information we just shared resonated with you, it's time for you to soar. Perfectly Positioned to Soar is available right now. Go grab your copy using the link below. You'll also get access to our free mystery bonus gift when you do. Thank you for being here, and here's to soaring together. Bye for now.